fact of the matter is, we watched this get murdered right in front of our own face. And the knew it was finna happen. He told us, and we didn't know. He named his last tour, This Is It. Have never said this is it in a celebration.
Because in 30 years, I've done nothing but collect information, knowledge, and your secrets.
Katt Williams is known for speaking his mind, but his latest revelations about the music industry have everyone talking. This time, he's dropped a bombshell involving none other than Michael Jackson. In a shocking interview, Williams pointed fingers at powerful Hollywood figures, accusing them of exploiting stars for their own gain. He suggests that behind the industry's glitz lies a dark side that manipulates vulnerable artists, pushing them toward mental struggles and sometimes their demise. Was Michael Jackson a victim of this hidden world? Could Williams be unveiling secrets about what truly happened to the King of Pop? Buckle up as we dive into Williams's explosive claims and uncover the untold truth. Katt Williams, known for dropping truth bombs, has apparently just launched a missile that could keep the rumor mill buzzing for weeks. The 52-year-old comedian recently shared explosive statements related to the mysterious passing of music icon Michael Jackson, following remarks made by Jackson's family and friends. What exactly did Katt say, and why should this warning resonate with other prominent Black artists? A video now circulating online shows Katt Williams in full force, unapologetically voicing his take on the circumstances surrounding Michael Jackson's final days in his signature no-holds-barred style. Katt insinuated that the pop legend may have been silenced by influential figures within the industry, right in front of all of us. While official reports state that Jackson passed from a medication overdose, Katt Williams suggested that this outcome might have been orchestrated. He pointed out that Michael himself may have sensed this coming, subtly hinting at his fate, yet the world failed to recognize it. One of these hints, according to Katt, was in the name of Jackson's final tour, This Is It. To Williams, the title was a cryptic signal that Jackson knew he was at the end of his life and wouldn't make it to plan another tour. Tragically, this turned out to be true, as the This Is It tour marked Jackson's last public appearance before his untimely death that same year. Katt Williams reflected on the somber tone of Jackson's announcement, noting that the pop star didn't sound celebratory. Instead, he seemed weary, as though he was done battling the dark forces he believed operated within the industry. In Katt's eyes, this weariness was a sign that Jackson understood his time was short. According to the comedian, Jackson's passing wasn't just a personal tragedy, but also a result of powerful industry figures who resented his influence. Many fans who watched Katt Williams's video found themselves nodding in agreement, echoing his sentiments about the industry's darker side. Some fans even went as far as calling Katt a prophetic comedian, claiming he's been trying to open the public's eyes to the industry's secrets for years, only to be overlooked. They believe Michael Jackson, too, spent years warning the world about the twisted forces within the entertainment industry. Yet, when he finally pushed back, they say his reputation was dismantled. For many, Jackson's troubled life tells a story of lost innocence and profound sadness. His stolen childhood shaped his unique personality forever, a brilliant man-child loved by fans but misunderstood by many. Fans argue that the industry's preference for silence over outspokenness has made whistleblowers like Katt Williams targets, just as they believe it did with Michael. His tragic end is suggested to be yet another example of how those who speak out are often silenced. The events surrounding Jackson's passing only fuel this suspicion. He was found unconscious in his Los Angeles home by his physician, Conrad Murray, who tried to revive him but noted a faint pulse. Paramedics rushed Jackson to the hospital, where doctors confirmed he was gone. The official report cited an overdose of surgical anesthetics and antidepressants prescribed by his physician as the cause, but the circumstances were murky. Murray reportedly failed to inform the paramedics or hospital staff of the medications he had administered the night before, a detail that raised countless questions. The coroner's report later revealed lethal levels of these medications in Jackson's system, leaving fans and industry insiders wondering why this crucial information was withheld. These revelations ignited a wave of outrage among fans who quickly demanded justice against Conrad Murray. Soon after, Murray was brought before the court on charges of voluntary manslaughter. He pleaded not guilty, asserting to the press, "I've told the truth and have faith it will prevail." His trial stretched over 6 weeks, with the jury taking an additional 2 days to reach a decision. Finally, on November 29, 2011, Murray was found guilty and sentenced to 4 years in prison. The prosecution argued that Murray's actions directly caused the loss of one of the greatest musical icons, calling for a harsher sentence. In contrast, Murray's defense pushed for probation, noting his clean record. However, the 4-year sentence left Jackson's family and fans furious, believing the punishment fell far short of what Murray deserved. The verdict only fueled endless speculation, sparking theories and accusations about Jackson's untimely death. One popular theory claimed that Jackson's death had been carefully orchestrated and that Murray played a willing role. Fans questioned why a physician with Murray's credentials would administer such a powerful dose, knowing the risks. They also wondered why he failed to inform paramedics and hospital staff about the overdose, a crucial omission that delayed possible life-saving measures. For conspiracy theorists, these details painted a suspicious picture. Many concluded that Dr. Murray was likely complicit, perhaps even assured a minimal sentence and financial security for life in exchange for his role. According to this view, Murray had taken the position with full knowledge of what might unfold, leaving fans to question whether justice had truly been served. Others speculated that Dr. Murray was merely a fall guy, set up by powerful elites to shoulder the blame for Michael Jackson's passing. This sentiment was reinforced by Michael's sister, LaToya Jackson, who repeatedly voiced her suspicions and attended every court hearing alongside her family. LaToya tirelessly sought justice, using social media to urge a deeper investigation into her brother's death. She believed Michael had become a target for those who wanted him to fail, portraying him as a victim of greed and ambition. LaToya called on witnesses, spouses, partners, and employees to reveal the truth, hinting that many knew what truly happened but were too fearful to speak up. She insisted that Dr. Murray knew what transpired on that fateful night but remained silent, likely intimidated by the powerful figures involved. LaToya expressed that Michael had dedicated his life to his children and deserved justice, asserting that Dr. Murray was only a small piece of a larger puzzle. Her statements went further, alleging that Michael was targeted for his wealth and defending her family from any suspicion of involvement. She argued that tracing the money could reveal those responsible and was adamant that her family had nothing to do with his estate. Interestingly, LaToya Jackson's sentiments sparked mixed reactions among fans. Many sided with her, convinced that Dr. Murray was involved in a deeper conspiracy, given the suspicious details surrounding Michael Jackson's death. However, a smaller group of fans believed Murray was innocent, merely fulfilling his duties as Jackson's doctor. According to this group, the media and law enforcement were using Murray as a scapegoat while ignoring other potential causes. They pointed to Jackson's long-standing struggle with sleep and pain medication addiction, which his family had tried to address in a failed intervention attempt in 2007 when they were turned away by his security at the gate. These fans argued that a range of medications, many under fraudulent names, were found at Jackson's home after his death, suggesting a history of dependency that went beyond Dr. Murray's actions. In one 2004 police report, it was noted that Jackson was reportedly taking up to 40 anti-anxiety pills daily. For these fans, Dr. Murray was simply a victim of circumstance, believing he deserved little more than a light punishment. Yet not everyone bought into the idea of Murray's innocence. Paris Jackson, Michael's daughter, firmly believed in her Aunt LaToya's version of events. She openly declared that her father was deliberately eliminated by those seeking his wealth and legacy. In a revealing interview with Rolling Stone, Paris stated, "Absolutely, my dad was eliminated because it's obvious. All arrows point to that." She acknowledged that it might sound like a conspiracy theory, but for her, it was the only explanation. It sounds like BS, but all real fans and everybody in the family know it. It was a setup. It was BS. Her words left fans torn between the stories they'd heard and the unsettling questions that remained unanswered. However, Paris Jackson's perspective on her father's death diverged somewhat from her Aunt LaToya's and from the fans who blamed Dr. Conrad Murray entirely. She viewed the situation as a complex chess game involving multiple players who had stakes in Michael's vast estate. Rather than pointing fingers at a single individual, Paris felt that the notion of a singular culprit didn't fit the scale of what she believed to be a carefully orchestrated plot. Her choice of words hinted that she knew more than she was willing to share, perhaps because exposing everything might further complicate an already tangled story. In Paris's view, the people involved operated from the shadows, keeping their intentions hidden to protect their own interests. A direct confrontation would be too risky, given Michael Jackson's monumental fame and influence. For that reason, Paris felt it was wiser to withhold certain details, hoping instead that one day she might be in a position to secure the justice she believed her father deserved. She confided to Rolling Stone that although she yearned for justice, she understood the need for patience. "I definitely do want justice, but it's a chess game, and I am trying to play the chess game the right way. That's all I can say about that right now," she remarked. Paris's words not only reflect her deep sense of loss, but also the intricate web of speculation and intrigue surrounding her father's legacy, a legacy that, she believes, is still under threat from those who would manipulate it for their own gain. Paris Jackson admitted that her father's loss left a void that no amount of time could heal. Despite the years that had passed, the pain remained constant. She simply learned to carry it. Reflecting on her grief, she said, "They always say time heals, but it really doesn't. You just get used to it. I'll live life with the mentality of, okay, I lost the only thing that has ever been important to me." Her words conveyed profound resilience, even as she continued to quietly pursue the truth about what really happened to her father. Janet Jackson, the youngest of the Jackson family, dealt with her brother Michael's passing in her own way, distancing herself from the storm of conspiracy theories and relentless media coverage. For Janet, the constant headlines and rumors surrounding her beloved brother's death became too much to bear. She found herself turning off the TV, trying to escape what she described as madness. Unlike those in the spotlight who seemed immune to public scrutiny, Janet admitted she didn't have the thick skin to handle the endless gossip and wild theories. People can have rhinoceros skin, but there's a point when something's going to hurt you. Not everyone is stone, she reflected. During this tumultuous time, Janet relied on her chef as her only source of news, choosing peace over the noise that consumed everyone else. In the midst of her grief, she found comfort in memories of Michael. She recalled their last time together on May 14th, just 2 days before her 43rd birthday. It was a family gathering filled with laughter and kids racing around the house. Michael and Janet enjoyed teasing each other, sharing a playful meal that had them both grinning from ear to ear. After that evening, Janet continued reaching out to her brother, calling to remind him how special the night had been. Not long after, she flew to Atlanta to work on Why Did I Get Married Too? With Tyler Perry, but she kept in touch with Michael. Then, while on set, she received the devastating news that her brother was gone. She dropped everything and hurried back to Los Angeles, joining her family in their grief as the paparazzi lingered nearby. Amidst the media chaos, Janet and her family found solace in each other, honoring Michael's memory in the quiet, personal way they needed. Their shared moments of remembrance became a refuge from the controversies surrounding them, allowing them to celebrate Michael's life while navigating the complexities of their loss. At Michael Jackson's private memorial, one of the most heartfelt moments came when his 11-year-old daughter, Paris, stood at the microphone, her voice filled with emotion. "Daddy has been the best father you could ever imagine," she said before seeking comfort in Janet's embrace. Recalling that poignant moment, Janet shared how proud she was of Paris, who, despite her young age, honored her father with words that moved everyone in attendance. Janet later remarked that Paris's tribute gave people a glimpse of Michael's deep love as a father, describing her niece as incredibly smart and sweet, a reflection of Michael's influence. Janet noted that the kids were in good hands, surrounded by their cousins, with a strong family bond helping them navigate such a difficult time. Following the ceremony, Janet spoke briefly to the press before heading back to Atlanta to resume work on her film. To cope with her brother's passing, she immersed herself in projects ranging from recording albums to starring in commercials and concerts. Even as time passed, her longing for her brother remained, accompanied by a quiet hope that one day they would reunite. Unlike Janet's approach to dealing with Michael's passing, others, including some fans, found themselves pulled into conspiracy theories. Kanye West, known for his controversial statements, hinted at suspicions of foul play in Michael's passing. In one tweet, he bizarrely claimed that Michael had warned him about industry figures before his death, cryptically mentioning his ex-wife, Kim Kardashian, whom he credited with protecting their children. His post also took aim at Kris Jenner, criticizing her past decisions and suggesting hidden motives at play in the entertainment industry. Kanye's controversial tweet referencing Tommy Mottola, the former CEO of Sony, raised eyebrows among fans and the public alike. While Kanye's rants were nothing new, some fans couldn't help but consider the possibility that he knew more than he was letting on. After all, Kanye had been deeply entrenched in the music industry and had been vocal about its inner workings. For those who believed his claims, Kanye wasn't just another celebrity spouting off. He was someone with insider knowledge of the industry. They felt that if anyone had insight into Michael Jackson's death, it could very well be Kanye, who wasn't afraid to speak his mind, even if his remarks were often met with skepticism. This particular theory tied back to Michael Jackson's long-standing accusations against Tommy Mottola, whom he publicly called out for racism and mistreatment of Black artists. The conflict had been brewing for years, but came to a head in 2002 when Michael, at a press conference, accused Sony and Mottola of exploiting and sabotaging Black artists. During the heated press conference, Michael called Tommy mean, racist, and devilish, even presenting a poster with Tommy depicted as a devil. He also held up a sign that read, "Sony Music Kills," further illustrating his frustration with the label. The pop star was particularly upset because Sony had refused to promote his 2001 album Invincible and had failed to release a song Michael had written as a tribute to the victims of the 9/11 terrorist attacks. Michael's public outcry about Mottola's treatment of him and other Black artists painted a picture of an industry filled with exploitation and corruption, setting the stage for many conspiracy theories about his death. Some fans believed that Kanye's cryptic tweets might have been pointing towards something much bigger. Michael Jackson's outspokenness about the music industry, particularly his accusations against Mottola, was part of a larger narrative about how Black artists were treated in the business. Jackson had long voiced his frustration with the way labels exploited their talent, particularly Black musicians. He pointed out that artists like James Brown and Sammy Davis Jr., some of the pioneering figures in music, were forced to tour incessantly just to make ends meet. For Jackson, this wasn't just about his own struggles, but about the broader systemic issues affecting Black artists. He argued that record labels stole from their artists, especially those of color, and that many musicians would go hungry if they stopped touring. His message was clear. Fighting for him was fighting for all Black artists, both living and deceased. Jackson's relationship with Sony soured further when negotiations over the licensing of his album masters fell apart. As a result, he refused to tour behind his Invincible album. He also accused Mottola of using the N-word in reference to an unnamed artist, which further fueled the tension between the two. However, not everyone in Jackson's circle agreed with his stance. Reverend Al Sharpton, a close friend of Michael's, supported the singer's critiques of the music industry but disagreed with his personal attack on Mottola. Sharpton praised Mottola for being one of the first record executives to advocate for Black artists, stating that he had never witnessed any racist behavior from him in all the years they had worked together. Sharpton also stressed that Michael, as always, was determined to follow his own path regardless of others' opinions. Sony responded to Jackson's accusations with a strong defense of Mottola, calling Michael's comments ludicrous and hurtful. They maintained that Mottola was a respected figure within the company who had always sought to further the careers of Jackson and other artists. This public back and forth only added to the growing sense of division between Michael Jackson and the music industry, fueling further conspiracy theories about his eventual demise. As Michael Jackson's criticisms of Sony and Mottola intensified, they were met with strong rebuttals from the music industry. Mottola and the label accused Jackson of misusing his celebrity status to tarnish the reputation of a dedicated, hard-working individual. They dismissed his accusations as bizarre, suggesting that Jackson's real issues weren't with the marketing or distribution of his Invincible album but something deeper and more personal. Reverend Al Sharpton, while sympathizing with Jackson's frustrations about the industry, revealed that many within the music world, artists and industry professionals alike, expressed disappointment in Michael's outbursts. However, Michael's fans remained steadfast in their support. They argued that Jackson, a man known for being soft-spoken and reserved, was not used to addressing the media in such an open manner. For them, his outbursts were not the ramblings of an angry artist, but the result of serious mistreatment. They pointed out that if everything had been right with the label, Michael would not have felt the need to speak out. The fans speculated that something had to have pushed Jackson to voice his frustration so publicly and viewed the producers who disagreed with him as complicit in the system of exploitation he was exposing. Beyond Sony and Mottola, a broader conspiracy began to take root among fans, who started to link Jackson's outspoken nature to his tragic end. Many blamed the Illuminati, believing that the secretive organization saw Michael as a threat to their influence. They argued that Jackson had begun to reveal hidden secrets about the group and that they moved quickly to silence him. According to these fans, Michael was the only artist bold enough to publicly challenge powerful figures like Sony and Mottola, and in doing so, he became a target of a larger, more sinister plot. This theory suggested that Michael's visibility and influence had made him a dangerous figure in the eyes of those in power, leading to his untimely demise. Theories surrounding Michael Jackson's death continue to intrigue and fuel speculation. One such theory suggested that Jackson, known for his bold stance against the industry, became a target for the Illuminati, which allegedly saw him as a threat to their control. If Michael had used his influence to expose the hidden forces manipulating the entertainment world, he could have disrupted the entire business. According to this belief, his passing was carefully planned and executed by those who feared his power. Another more outlandish theory claimed that Michael had actually passed away years earlier, in 2007. Some fans believed that the version of Jackson who appeared at the O2 Arena to promote his This Is It tour was a body double. They pointed to his altered appearance, taller than usual, with fingers that appeared stunted, as evidence of this theory. Additionally, his late arrival at the venue and quick departure added fuel to the suspicions, leading some to speculate that the real Michael Jackson had already been replaced. A particularly bizarre theory involved Michael's supposed sighting in Mexico, where one man claimed to have seen the pop star entering the country on the very day his death was announced. Despite these claims, no one in Mexico has reportedly seen Michael since then, leaving this theory unsubstantiated. One of the more unusual and mundane theories suggested that the former president of Iran, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, was behind Michael Jackson's death as a means of shifting global attention away from the political turmoil in his country. As Ahmadinejad's popularity waned and protests intensified, some theorists speculated that the sudden worldwide focus on Jackson's death momentarily distracted the public from the crisis in Iran, providing the former president with a reprieve from the mounting pressure. Another theory that gained traction was the idea that Michael Jackson faked his death to escape overwhelming debt. According to this speculation, the pop icon was so deeply in financial trouble that he saw no way out other than to stage his passing. The plan was simple. With the world, including his creditors, believing he was gone, Jackson could retreat to a secluded island far from the prying eyes of the media and escape his financial burdens. However, despite the theory's popularity, all evidence pointed to the fact that Michael Jackson had indeed passed away. The Los Angeles coroner's office officially confirmed that the body in the casket was his. This did little to quell the beliefs of those who continued to see Jackson as a victim of the harsh music industry. Many fans expressed their heartbreak over what they perceived as his mistreatment, lamenting the struggles he endured in his final years. His fans believed that when you truly reflect on what he endured, it's heartbreaking to consider what the accusers did to him for money. Many echoed similar thoughts, feeling that Jackson's relentless fight against the industry's injustices ultimately took a toll on him, consuming him in the end. Katt Williams has been vocal about the darker aspects of the music and entertainment industry, highlighting how it exploits artists and often drives them into hardship. In a recent interview, he pointed to powerful Hollywood figures, mentioning names like Quincy Jones and Clive Davis as examples of individuals who he claims manipulate talent for their own benefit. Williams argued that these influential figures often push artists into compromising situations, requiring them to adhere to specific images or behaviors that don't align with their authentic selves. He expressed particular concern over the toll these demands can take on artists, suggesting that this pressure can lead to struggles with mental health and, in extreme cases, even death. Williams referenced stars like Michael Jackson to illustrate his point, suggesting that vulnerable individuals in the industry face significant exploitation once they achieve fame. According to Williams, the industry's glamorous facade often hides a reality where artists pay a high price, with their personal well-being and mental health frequently overshadowed by the relentless demands of fame. Despite the sadness, fans still hold on to the belief that Michael Jackson's spirit lives on. His musical legacy and the love of those who admired him ensure that he remains forever in their hearts. The King of Pop, in the eyes of his supporters, will continue to shine brightly through the memories of those who cherished him.